Morning, church family. Hope everyone is doing all right. I'm going to start off by saying thank you to everyone that has called or texted and that has reached out to us. We're doing well. We're doing okay. But thank you for checking in on us. I hope all of you are doing well during these very unusual times, right? Hope you're surviving the quarantine, right? Especially those that have kiddos. Um, I'm a special prayer to you. I feel you. I know what you're going through. All jokes aside, it's been, you find the blessings even in the midst of a storm, right? And so, it's been nice to be able to slow down. It's been nice to be able to just spend some good time with my wife and kids. That when things are at a norm, it's so hard to do. Just with the busyness of everything. I was talking with a member yesterday even, and she mentioned how nice it is, now in the midst of this storm, right, in the midst of this COVID-19 madness, that there's been more connection, more reaching out, more just staying connected within the body, which has been really good for us and encouraging. We need to continue to do that. So I just thought I just take some time and make this video and just um, express my thoughts a little bit. It feels weird being on video. I'm not a video kind of guy, so it's a little awkward for me. But it's a blessing that we have this technology available to us that we can do this and reach out to one another on a more personal level. So this is really good. Um, I do want to mention if you saw either on the Facebook post or in an email, you would have seen that we were able to send some Bible reading plans. Um, there's like three different plans that you're able to choose from. Please use those. It's important that we stay engaged in the Word of God, especially through these times, always, but especially through these times that we stay engaged in the Word of God. And so those are three different plans. Have your pick. The one is from Bible Gateway. It's a 14-day reading plan. I encourage you to do it with someone else. I mean, it's good when you do it with yourself, by yourself, but it's good to do it also with others, right? And so if you have a way of doing that with others, that'd be great. There's also another plan. It's a 52-week reading plan from Replicate Ministries on F260 plan, and that one's a really good one too. That you can do as well. And YouVersion also provides a lot of different plans, different topics. Um, and so there's a link in the post or in the email that you can go to, and you can have your pick on which plans you want to engage in. And so I encourage you to do these with other people. And that one specifically, you can invite people into the plan with you, and you can read it together. Meaning of it, and myself and a group of others are engaging in one now. So it's really good. It's just different ways to stay connected and to stay engaged in the Word of God, which is huge, which is important. Also, lots of prayer, continued prayer, praying for one another, praying for the world, and just lots of prayer. The prayer is powerful, and God hears our prayers, and God is on the move. God is working, right? And so we just I encourage you to continue to pray for one another. I hope you caught the service this past Sunday. Thank you, Jeff, for providing the message for us. But I hope you caught that on Facebook Live at 9 a.m. last Sunday, or on YouTube, which is posted a little after. We're going to be doing that again this upcoming Sunday, and so I encourage you to tune in this Sunday at 9 a.m. We'll be having a service, a message, and it's pretty neat. We get to commune together online, so it's pretty neat that we're able to do those things. Um, so I've been thinking a lot about just different things. I've been really reading a lot, and um, but I've been thinking a lot about how these are some really uncertain times. Nothing seems certain right now, right? And it shows you how little control we actually have over things. We like to think we have control, but we really don't have a lot of control over things. This has stopped the world in a sense, right? And so it's interesting. I had a conversation with a guy one time, this is a while ago, but it kind of stuck with me. One of the things that he said, he was one of those guys that you run into, and he just talks to everybody, and he'll tell you his whole life story. And so we were talking, and I'm kind of like that too. We just started talking, right? And we got into this like philosophical kind of conversation. And but one of the things he said was it's not the most intelligent that survive, it's the most adaptable. And I kind of thought about that, and I was like, huh, that kind of makes sense, right? Because we don't have a lot of control, right? But when things change, we have to have the ability to adapt, right? To whatever that circumstance is. And I kind of feel like that now. I feel like we're all kind of adapting to the new normal, at least for now, and that's how life is. Life throws us into these loops. Life throws us into uh, yeah, these loops. They just knocks us off our feet, right? It throws us off balance, uh, and so it's just a good reminder of how little control we actually do have. And the longer I go through life, the more I realize that life has a way of crumbling down, falling around us. Life has a way of doing that. And it's in those times that we all need a fortress, that we all need a fortress to protect us. We all need refuge. We all need God, right? Um, even if even when it's not times like that, but in those times especially, we need to lean on God, right? And so my question to you is today, do you have a habit of turning to God in troubling times? Is that something that you do? Why or why not? I know for me, a lot of times I try to take life on, give it to me, I could do it, right? Um, and man, it's like a weight being carried around until I get to that point that all of a sudden I say, I can't do this no more. I can't do it no more, right? And so um, I go through that. I go through that process. I'm not exempt from it, and I'm sure many of you take on life's challenges like that as well. But let me ask you this other question: what usually happens when you turn to God in these difficult moments? What happens when we do give it to God, right? And I know for me, when I let go and I let God, right? It's like a weight, that weight that I was feeling, that weight is taken off. And usually that's when I see, okay, there's some more clarity, there's a path, um, and, and it just makes everything right. And it doesn't necessarily take away the troubles. Don't hear what I'm not saying. It doesn't necessarily take whatever that circumstance is away, but I tell you, it gives me that peace that transcends all understanding, right? That peace that the Apostle Paul talks about in the midst of the storm, right? And so that's something that we can rely on when we turn to God, right? He gives us that peace that we really need, you know. Um, so just thinking about troubling times, there's someone in the Bible that I like reading about a lot. King David. King David, he was a man that was in the scriptures. He's referred to as a man after God's own heart. King David, he went through a lot of struggles. King David had, man, he had a lot of different challenges in his life. He was persecuted, he was mistreated, he was he had so much family turmoil. I mean, he had two of his sons bickering. The one killed the other, right? Absalom kills Amnon, right? And you can read about that in 2 Samuel chapters 13 through about 18, 19. You can read about that, right? And so these are all the different challenges that David was experiencing. He experienced the stresses of being a king, right? And everything that brings, right? So he had sin struggles. He's lost a child as a result of his sin, right? And so there were sin struggles that he had to overcome. So David, he was no stranger to troubling times. He was no stranger to suffering, right? So I like the Psalms. I don't know about you, but I like the Psalms. If you know me, I like poetry. I like writings, and the Psalms are really nice. Uh, and Psalm 18 in particular, um, I like the first six verses in Psalm 18. I was reading that, and it's just really hit me in a way. So if you have a chance, please read it. I'm going to read it right now. Psalm 18, chapter 18, verses 1 through 6. Okay, and it says, I love you, Lord. Now, this is a psalm written uh, in scriptures. It says here a praise for deliverance, right? It says here that these were words that David spoke um, when he was rescued from the grasp of all his enemies and from the power of Saul, right? So then David writes this psalm, and it says, beginning in verse 1, it says, I love you, Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer, my God, my rock, where I seek refuge, my shield and the horn of my salvation, my stronghold. I called to the Lord who is worthy of praise, and I was saved from my enemies. The ropes of death were wrapped around me. The torrents of destruction terrified me. The ropes of Sheol entangled me. The snares of death confronted me. I called to the Lord in my distress, and I cried to my God for help. From his temple he heard my voice, and my cry to him reached his ears. That's a powerful passage right there, and a very comforting passage as well. Now, think about this. What were some of the things that David called God in this passage, right? He calls him my rock, my deliverer, my strength, my refuge, my shield, right? He's talking about, he's describing God as a fortress, as a protector, right? And so that's who God is. That's his nature. That's he cares for us and he wants to take care of us, right? And so throughout his life, David he was saved by God over and over again, time and time and again. David was saved by God from a lion and a bear while watching over his flock of sheep, right? He was saved by God from the giant named Goliath, right? If you remember that story, um, God delivered David, and David had faith in God, and he trusted in God that he could defeat this Goliath, right? Um, David was saved by God in tons of different battles, right? God would deliver David. God was with David throughout all these things, and even from his son Absalom, because Absalom turned on David as well, right? He didn't just kill his brother, but Absalom ended up turning on David and wanted to overthrow David, and so God was with David even throughout that time, right? But David knew that he could rely and he could trust in God. David knew that. He believed in God, right? And so, with all the stuff that's going on right now, it may feel like things are crumbling. It may feel like things are just out of whack, right? And it may feel like you may feel like you're in despair at this moment, or you're just feeling you're uncertain. Um, but trust in the Lord. Think about what David would tell you um, to do in your life at this point in time. What would David tell you to do in the times where your life is just being rocked? You know, um, what do you think David would say, right? And so I'm sure he would say, trust in the Lord, because the Lord is faithful to his promises, right? Um, and so we know that David had a lot of difficult moments in his life, but in all of them, he put his entire hope and trust in God. He really did. And I suggest and I encourage you all and myself to do the same thing, right? To trust in God throughout these times. And so when life seems like it's crumbling all around you, you need to lean on something sturdy. We need a fortress. We need a refuge. And that refuge, that fortress is our God, right? We serve a big God, right? A God that doesn't abandon us. So these are just a few thoughts in my mind. I thought I'd share with you guys. I hope it was encouraging to you. Um, I will ask that if there's any need among you, please let it be known. Please call the office. Get in contact with Monica. She's kind of been the point of contact for this. The number 717-393-4281. And I also encourage you to just stay connected with each other, right? Stay connected to the body. Look for ways to reach out. Um, don't become isolated, right? The enemy likes to work in our heads when we're isolated, right? And so we got to get out of our heads and we got to reach out to one another, right? And build each other up and encourage one another, right? During these times. So look for ways to stay connected in the body, okay? I love you all. God bless you, and have a great day.